Kenny Omega makes his All Elite Wrestling return on last night's edition of AEW Dynamite. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling, and the worst kept secret in professional wrestling was revealed last night when Kenny Omega made his return to All Elite Wrestling programming on Dynamite on TBS as the mystery partner for the Young Bucks, as the Elite reunited and officially entered the tournament to crown the first ever AEW Trios World Champions. Now, Kenny Omega is officially back in All Elite Wrestling. In the main event of last night's House of the Dragon show, La Faction Ignorable, I'm always terrible at saying that word, Andrade El Idolo, Dragon Lee and Roosh took on the Young Bucks and a mystery partner in a first round match to crown the AEW World Trios champions in that tournament. Now, the Young Bucks came to the ring with associate Brandon Cutler, and commentary questioned whether or not he would be the third partner. Ring announcer Justin Roberts hopped in the ring as he was handed a piece of paper by the Bucks. He read off a list of accomplishments, including titles and awards, as intense music started to play and the lights changed to blue. Roberts revealed the partner's identity as Kenny Omega's music hit, and he made his entrance flanked by Michael Nakazawa and, of course, Don Callis. Omega was smiling and high-fiving fans as he made his way around ringside. The Bucks and Omega ultimately took home the victory after a grueling match between the two teams. While Omega showed a little bit of ring rust at the beginning of the match, he earned the win for his team after he hit Dragon Lee with a massive V-trigger knee and a one-winged angel. The Bucks held off Andrade El Idolo and Roosh to keep them from breaking up the pinfall. Now, it was quite interesting. You can see it on the screen right there. Omega wore a black long-sleeve compression shirt during the match. His last match was at the Full Gear pay-per-view in November of 2021, where he lost the AEW World Championship to his former tag team partner, Hangman Adam Page. Now, Omega took time off to undergo multiple surgeries and to rehab and heal from numerous injuries. This included a shoulder problem. This included knee surgery. This included hernia surgery. It included, as I mentioned, a torn labrum, an abdominal hernia, and knee problems as well. So you can see right there, and this is really fascinating, and this was really, I think, the exciting part of this, and the thing where I went, this is interesting. Not only Kenny Omega's return, not only his return to in-ring action and all of that, but the way he was presented was certainly curious, to say the least. You can see it right there. He's wearing that compression shirt. He wore a giant brace on his shoulder and on his arm. At several points in the match, he was holding pretty much everywhere that he had surgery. He was holding his stomach, i.e. saying, the surgery for my hernia really hurts. He was holding his knee, saying, my knee really hurts. Don Callis on commentary and Jim Ross said that he had allegedly undergone multiple surgeries. And if you just looked on the face of it, if you didn't watch Dynamite last night, or you just went on social media this morning and you saw Kenny Omega return, but he was dressed like that, you would say, my, oh my. Kenny Omega is not ready to return. He should not be cleared for in-ring competition. He should not be wrestling. Clearly, look at him. He's in no condition to compete. He's wearing a brace. He's wearing a compression shirt. He was limping. He was holding his stomach. No. In my opinion, and maybe this, as everything with pro wrestling, it's somewhere in between, but in my opinion, it's a work. It's a work. Clearly, Kenny Omega, I believe, has been cleared for in-ring action. I believe the presentation is building to something, I believe, because make no mistake, if Kenny Omega had to wear a shoulder brace, if Kenny Omega had to wear a compression shirt to wrestle, they wouldn't clear him. I really don't think that to be the case. I know a lot of people have said lots of things about Tony Khan and the practices and, you know, the medical stuff and all that kind of stuff when it comes to AEW, but I believe it's a storyline. The reason I believe it's a storyline, the reason I believe it's a work is once they started referencing all this stuff on commentary, once they started teasing it and going over the top with some of the pro wrestling speak of, oh, what about his shoulder, what about this, I went, then it's a work. For me, it clearly is work. Now, that's not to say when he was taking some of those bumps, he wasn't like, man, that hurts. But again, use your mind here. You know, last night was not the first time that Kenny Omega had stepped inside of a ring since he had surgery. It was not. When pro wrestlers are rehabbing and they're recovering, they get into wrestling rings, whether it's their own personal ring, whether it's a ring at a training facility, whether it's wherever. Kenny Omega, I'm almost certain, has taken plenty of bumps in the weeks and months leading up to the return last night. So Kenny Omega, I believe the presentation is that he's not 100%. Is it the old Kenny Omega, the ring rust? I don't know what they're building towards. I don't know what the payoff is. I don't know if it's already an out for the Elite not to win the AEW Trios Championships at All Out. I don't know what the end game is, but for those that were concerned, and again, on the face of it, you absolutely should. You would look at that and go, oh, Kenny, like, what are you doing? If that's what it takes for you to wrestle, then maybe you shouldn't be wrestling anymore. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. Clearly, the Elite are being presented as baby faces here. That's why you had the Undisputed Elite turn. That's why you had Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish turn on the Young Bucks, because the Bucks and Kenny Omega are being presented as baby faces. And how do you feel sympathetic for a character? How do you make sure that they're a babyface? Not just them returning after being away for a long period of time, but how do you present them as babyface? You present them as being vulnerable. And maybe, again, maybe it's an out. Maybe it's how they lose. I mean, we haven't seen Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish's reaction. Of course, they're all out of injury at the moment, and perhaps either I could see a situation where maybe Omega and the Bucks win the Trios Championships at All Out, and then they get attacked by Adam Cole, by Kyle O'Reilly, by Bobby Fish, and they attempt or try to put Kenny Omega out on the shelf for even longer. Maybe that's what they're building towards. Clearly, they're building towards the Elite versus the Undisputed Elite. There's no doubt about that, and clearly they're building towards Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole. But it's how they get there, and maybe they will get there by giving Adam Cole, maybe more importantly, the time that he needs. We know he's out of injury. He suffered a really bad concussion at Forbidden Door. Also, he's got the torn labrum issues as well. So they're aware that they might not be able to do Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega for a while. How do they get around that? They get around that by, you know, squeezing out the Kenny Omega situation with his injuries, with his surgeries, etc. And I think that's maybe what they're doing. I think that it clearly, for me, was an elaborate presentation for Kenny Omega. And my concern was going into last night is they could do more with that return, or they could have hyped that up more. But if anything, now it does kind of make sense the way that they did it. They didn't really overhype it too much, because they brought him back, and now the question is, was it too soon? Was it too early? What's going on? And sometimes they say that about wrestling storylines. Sometimes they say that about lots of things. But I guess the way to do it is by, in terms of the presentation, present him as struggling, present him as someone that's got a bad shoulder, present him as someone that's got a bad knee and a hernia and all that kind of stuff. That's the presentation. That's the way to do it, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on the return of Kenny Omega. Let me know your thoughts on the match last night, and let me know your thoughts on what you think the plans are for Kenny Omega in the future now that he has indeed returned to AEW. Smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.